When we talk about cybersecurity, it's really easy to get lost in a whole sea of technical jargon. So today, let's try something different. Let's reframe it. I want you to think of your organization not just as a business, but as a digital fortress. And your job? Well, your job is to build it, defend it, and make sure it can withstand any digital siege that comes its way.
And believe me, the stakes could not be higher. Just look at this number, $4.45 million. That's what the latest reports are telling us is the average cost of a single data breach. This isn't just some small IT problem. It is a massive financial and reputational threat. And it's what makes defending that fortress so absolutely critical.
And this quote, it really gets to the very heart of our fortress metaphor. I mean, you can have the tallest walls imaginable, the strongest gates, but if you leave just one small, forgotten tunnel completely unguarded, the entire fortress is vulnerable. See, cybersecurity is a holistic challenge. Every single point of entry matters. So here's our plan of attack for this explainer. First, we're going to survey the digital battlefield. Then we'll dive into the two core defense philosophies. After that, we'll get our hands dirty with the actual blueprints for building our fortress. We'll even come up with a battle plan for when the walls are breached. And finally, we'll talk about why a fortress commander's job is never, ever done.
Okay, so first things first, we need to understand the terrain. Before a single stone is laid for our fortress, we have to survey the digital battlefield. And this is a world where threats are constantly evolving, and the ground is always shifting right under our feet. The key concept you need to grasp here is your security posture. Think of it as the overall readiness of your fortress. It's not just about how high your walls are or how many guards you have on patrol. No, it's everything combined. Your technology, your rules, your supply chains, and, probably most importantly, your people. It's the answer to one simple question. How ready are you, really, to face an attack? Now, when it comes to defense, you've really got two basic philosophies. Do you focus on building impenetrable walls to keep attackers out from the get-go? Well, that's being proactive. Or do you just get really good at putting out fires once the attackers are already inside wreaking havoc? That's being reactive. Let's break down that difference.
This table really lays it all out. A reactive approach is all about damage control after the alarm bells are already ringing. A proactive approach, on the other hand, is all about prevention, fortifying your defenses before an attack even happens. And look, while you absolutely need a plan for both scenarios, the real insight here is that a proactive strategy is what's going to save you a ton of money, time, and your reputation in the long run. All right, let's get to the main event, actually building that fortress. This is where we move from theory into practice and start looking at the essential architectural components you're going to need to create a strong, proactive defense. So the first and most fundamental layer is access control. Honestly, the best analogy is a bouncer at a really exclusive club. Their job is simple. Check every single ID to verify who you are, check the guest list to see if you have permission to enter, and keep anyone who's not supposed to be there out. In the digital world, that is exactly what access control does for your data and your systems. So why is this digital bouncer so critical? Well, beyond just keeping intruders out, it contains the damage. If an account gets compromised, let's say an attacker steals a key, good access control makes sure that one key doesn't open every single door in the castle. And on top of all that, in many industries, it's not just a good idea, it's the law. And here is a perfect and scary example of what happens when that bouncer falls asleep on the job. A simple misconfiguration, basically one unlocked digital gate, left 3 terabytes of sensitive airport data, including employee information, completely exposed for anyone to find. One little mistake with absolutely massive consequences. This brings us to 2 crucial principles. The first is least privilege, and it's pretty simple. You only give people the keys to the specific rooms they need to do their job, and absolutely nothing more. The second principle, zero trust, takes it a huge step further. It assumes no one is trustworthy by default, not even your own people inside the walls. It's a philosophy of never trust, always verify. And it demands strict proof of identity for every single action, every single time. Okay, another core architectural choice is network segmentation. I want you to imagine your fortress isn't one big open space, but instead a series of interconnected, yet totally separate, towers. Or maybe a better analogy is the watertight compartments in a ship. If one area is breached, you can seal it off immediately. This prevents the threat from spreading and sinking the entire ship. It's all about containing the damage. Now, let's be real, no fortress is ever going to be perfect. Over time, cracks are going to appear in the walls. That's essentially what software vulnerabilities are. So patch management is the essential, never-ending job of your maintenance crew, systematically finding those cracks in your software and plugging them up before an attacker can slip through.
And this isn't just random work. It's a highly disciplined cycle. It means you are constantly assessing your walls for new cracks, prioritizing the most dangerous ones first, testing the repairs before you apply them, and then verifying that the hole is truly actually sealed. It is a constant cycle of maintenance and vigilance. And if you want to understand the cost of failing at this, we only need to look at Equifax. I mean, one of the largest data breaches in history, affecting 147 million people, happened because the company failed to patch a known vulnerability. The attackers basically walked right through a crack that everyone knew was there. But let's be realistic. No matter how strong your fortress is, you have to plan for the possibility that an attacker eventually gets inside. So what's the battle plan for when the alarms are screaming and the enemy is already within the gates? Well, that battle plan is called incident response. It is a predefined, structured playbook for exactly what to do the moment a breach is detected. The goals are simple and clear. Contain the threat, limit the damage, kick the intruders out, and get back to normal as fast as humanly possible. And this isn't about running around in chaos. It's a well-defined process, standardized by groups like NIST. You know, the most important step is actually the first one, preparation. Because when a breach happens, you do not have time to figure things out. You need a plan ready to go so you can move from detection to containment and recovery without wasting a single second. And that final step, learning from what happened, is what makes your fortress stronger for the next fight. And you know what? Good incident response really works. Take the gaming company Ubisoft. They detected an attack while it was happening. Their security team moved so fast that they revoked the hackers' access and stopped them from stealing almost a terabyte of user data. That is a perfect example of a vigilant defense in action. But what if the damage is truly catastrophic? This is where disaster recovery comes in. And the story of the shipping giant Maersk is just incredible. The NotPetya malware literally destroyed their entire global network. Gone. They were saved because, by what seems like pure chance, a power outage had left a single office in Ghana offline. That one offline backup became the key to rebuilding their entire company from the ashes. And that brings us to our final and maybe most crucial point. Building a fortress isn't a one-time project you can just finish and walk away from. No, it's a state of constant vigilance. The threats are always changing, which means your defenses must always be adapting. A fortress never, ever sleeps. So what does it really mean to be a fortress commander today? Well, it means you're never satisfied with your defenses. You're always assessing them. It means you build in layers because you know that any single wall can fail. It means you recognize that your people are your most important frontline defenders. And finally, it means you are always watching the horizon because the next threat, it's already on its way. So, we'll end with this question to leave you with. You can have the best technology in the world, the highest walls, the most advanced weapons. But at the end of the day, a fortress is run by people. So ask yourself, are your people trained, aware, and vigilant defenders? Or are they the unlocked gate just waiting for an attacker to come strolling through?